What will we do with the drunken sailor? What will we do with the drunken sailor? What will we do with the drunken sailor early in the morning? Way hey, up she rises, way hey, up she rises, way hey, up she rises early in the morning.
Oliver Hafen, Aberdeen, Škotska, proizvođač Cidera.
Barry Scott, Aberdeen, Škotska, proizvođač Cidera.
For the beginning, tell me your reasons for coming to Serbia.
It started in 2004. My father set up a workshop in Ljubovia on the Drina, and they were doing furniture. So I came over to help him and worked on restoring furniture for 6 months in Ljubovia. Then two cyclists from Novi Sad came. They were cycling from Novi Sad to Montenegro. So I befriended them, and they introduced me to Novi Sad.
To make cider, really. Saw it as an opportunity with a new market, and produce is great, and that was the main reason for coming here.
And why Serbia? Who recommend you Serbia?
My colleague's father, he looked after some refugees from Bosnia in Scotland, so that's our connection with Serbia. And so we came here for holidays to begin with, and decided we wanted to stay.
First reaction was Subotica, waiting 16 hours on the border trying to get a lorry into the country. So I managed to find a game of football, introduce myself to the locals, and the hospitality immediately was phenomenal. Yeah, all those guys were younger than us, and they took me and my father in Subotica that night and paid for beer and food and everything, insisted on paying for everything all night, and I'd never really witnessed that anywhere else in Europe.
When did you came here first time? How many times you were in Serbia?
2 or 3 times before we moved here, around 2004, 2005, and a couple more times, and then 2008, 2009 is when we moved here permanently.
And now you live here?
All the time, yeah.
How many years you're here?
5 years.
5 years.
In the first couple of years, I was going home more often, but now not so much.
Now here's more relaxable and better.
On the Slash, in the countryside.
And then you started your job here, yeah?
I worked for my father for, I don't know, there was the initial 6 months, and then I came back to Ljubovia the next year, and then I think 2006 we went to Exit for the first time. I invited my friend, some friends, and my brother, and I think after that we sort of got the idea of doing something else and moving into something. In 2008 we registered the company and started to produce Scotch cider.
Here for the first time?
Yeah.
The main reason was for business, I suppose, but then you know, there was never a plan to go anywhere else. It was always to settle down and start a business and move into the countryside. You know, that's what I always wanted to do, so it seemed like the perfect place to do it.
We wouldn't have moved here strictly for business. You know, it's much more buying a Solar, self-sustainability, trying to do something positive, and yeah.
Tell me something about that story when you decided to buy Salash, and how you find that the right place for you.
We needed space, so we started in Karlovci. We had a podrum in Karlovci, it's 80 square meters, and that's where we began to produce. But we also needed somewhere to live, so when you put 2 and 2 together, we were like, well, we need a substantial space. So we looked around, and unfortunately everything on the mountain, which we were sort of on Fushkogora, where we wanted to be, was kind of too expensive. So we looked around, and we were in Catch, and we were all over the place really. And Chennai sort of struck us as somewhere interesting, close enough to the city, not to be too far out, and international airport maybe, and Salash 137 and apples and stuff like that. So it seemed like the ideal sort of place for us.
What is most inspired for you here to do beside it, and what do you like the most to do here?
Here?
Here. In the village and in the city.
Well, yeah, I prefer to be in the countryside really. It's just relaxing, isn't it? And peaceful and quiet, and it's a nice space for working in. Gardening as well, you know, like growing vegetables.
Fresh air.
Fresh air, yeah, of course. And, yeah, I like all Serbia, but you know, we've settled in Vojvodina, so happy.
How do you make it?
Cider?
Yeah.
It's much like wine. The process is the same. So we take apples actually very locally to here. There's Milan just up the road that way, and another orchard just over here. some in Cider and stuff like that. So we source all the local apple and we take it to Salash, we press it, we chop it first, wash it, chop it, press it. Once we pressed it, we extract pure apple juice. Then we put the apple juice into barrels and ferment with champagne yeast. The process varies depending how warm it is. And after fermentation, it's blending. So we don't add any sugar. To our draft cider, we don't add any sugar. We add a concentrate, which is pretty much organic. And that's in the blending process at the end. Once that's finished, it's filtered and pasteurized, and then packaged and ready for draft.
We researched, obviously, before we came here, and we found the right balance of apples to use. And some of them are from southern Serbia, which don't really grow in the north. So for cider, it's very important to have the perfect balance of apples. And we worked very hard over two and a half years to get that right before we really launched the product.
And what kind of apples do you buy?
The ones from the south are the wild ones that grow in the mountains, so they're very small and they're unedible. They're the ones that they use for making jam, and that's a real staple for the cider. It's a large proportion of it is from wild apples, and also generic apples as well. For sweetness and for acidity, and the regular ones that you can buy in the supermarket, but. Specifically, those wild apples from the mountains are the ones that are ideal for cider.
Wild apples for wild drinks and wild people.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, cool. In the summer it's cold, in the winter it's hot.
Yeah, we did this one. This is very popular in France and England. So we did this last year. It's almost like tea. It's got Jumbier and Karanfilic and some other stuff in it. So. Yeah, it's a winter warmer. It's popular all over the place.
And Serbian people like it. Huh?
Yeah, it was popular here as well. Yeah, they were enjoying it.
That's special because you came from Scotland.
Yeah.
And the people like it more because of that, I think. Huh?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, the Scottish reputation is good here, especially after the football back in when was it? It was October, November.
Last year.
Yeah, so I don't know, the Scottish have got a very good reputation here. Yeah.
Cool.
You know that we met Scotland supporters, football supporters who were here.
Yeah,
we made a special show about it.
Super, yeah, that was incredible. They certainly portrayed themselves very well.
National dresses,
national dress, and looking after everyone, and pitching in, clearing snow, and that's what people in Scotland are like.
They were great. So they had so much positive energy and great stories, and they were so great.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's a similarity between us, isn't it? It's Serbian people are a lot like that, and I think this is the real connection that we have.
What kind of the national drinks and juices people can find and buy and taste in Scotland?
In Scotland, it has to be whiskey, really, doesn't it? There's also a lot of great beer from Scotland, and in the past 5 years there was the first cider company in Scotland, so cider is becoming very popular. It's always been popular in the UK, but 4 or 5 years ago there was a company launched in Scotland making cider. So, people drink everything: beer, whiskey, but everyone knows whiskey. That's what you remember, isn't it?
Where are you from? Where do you live in Scotland?
In Aberdeen.
And you born there, or so you spent whole life there and decided to come here?
Well, I studied in Edinburgh, and I also lived in Brighton near London for 2 years. So, and I lived in France. I studied French at university, so I lived in France for a year as well, which was great.
So you know to speak French also?
I've forgotten everything, but it was a good experience.
There's some great French cultural center here in Novi Sad.
Yeah.
So you can visit there and practice a little.
Yeah, well, I've just come back from holiday in France actually, so I haven't lost everything. After a week, I was getting back into into the swing of things. You know.
I didn't ask you about Serbian words. Do you know to speak Serbian?
Malo.
Malo, a? Ajde, kaži mi nešto.
Ne
Tell me
znam.
something more.
Ne znam. Ne znam.
Can you understand something?
Enough.
What?
Yeah, enough. Yeah, we get by. I was at school for a while, and but quite busy. So maybe I'll go back to school in the winter when we've got time.
Daily stuff. I can order a beer or some food.
And can you say?
I can
Dobar dan.
greet, yeah, dobar dan, kako ste, stuff like that. Yeah. I've been slow and lazy about learning the language.
You're 10 years here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so I should try harder with the language. I need to go to school.
But here everybody knows English, so you don't have a problem with communication.
Yeah, even friends here are fed up speaking English all the time. It's an effort for them, so they would appreciate it if I managed to learn some Serbian.
Can you tell me something more about your born place?
About Aberdeen?
Hometown, where do you live?
Well, originally it was a fishing port, but over the past 30 years it's now the oil capital of Europe, if not the world. It's a huge industry, and yeah, that's really what happens in Aberdeen now. It's an old city. It's got a lot of history, but fishing was a major thing, and now it's oil.
It's called the Granite City, so it's all grey stone. The sky's grey. There's not much of a summer. I mean, it's a very beautiful place when the sun does come out. It's beautiful, but that's not very often. So you got a very short summer, a long winter. The light is different. That's one thing I miss. Yeah. So in the summer, it doesn't get dark really at all. At this time of year, it gets dark about 11:30, 12. Gets light at 3. But quite the opposite in the winter. It doesn't get light until 9 a.m. and gets dark at 3, 4 p.m. So short days in the winter, long days in the summer. So.
But we should visit there.
Castles, monuments, whiskey tour, fishing, Inverness, Skye, the islands. Specific to Aberdeen, there's lots of castles, and the River Dee is extremely beautiful.
Do you miss your friends and family from Scotland?
Sure. They come and visit. I go home, but yeah, we do miss them sometimes.
They come here sometimes. When they were here.
Most summers they'll come. So it's nice to catch up with them.
During Exit Festival.
No, not only during Exit. I think everyone's maybe had enough of going to Exit.
How often do you go with Novi Sad? What do you like the most about Novi Sad?
Yeah, maybe twice a week, I would say. And, I don't know. It changes completely in summer, doesn't it? It's all open air culture and cafes, which is great, and it's something we don't really have in Scotland because the weather's not very good. But it's the culture of the city, the way that it's laid out, and being able to spend time outside, and obviously the usual things like the fortress and all those things. But yeah, generally the people and the culture are what's the best thing about Novi Sad.
That's fantastic, yeah. And we've been in Novi Sad.
This is better.
Yeah, well, yeah, with the drinks and everything, you're often out and you're often doing events. But Novi Sad's got a great scene, Belgrade as well. But yeah, it's nice when the summer comes in and the open air places open up and stuff like that.
What is so special for you, and what do you like the most here?
I mean, the people, really, I suppose. Yeah, I think there's a very strong connection between Serbia and Scotland. Yeah. It's that Celtic thing. So I think because where we're from, I think we have a strong connection with the people here. So I think it's maybe that.
Can you describe Serbian people in 3 words?
3 words?
Yeah.
Hospitality. Beautiful. And I suppose generous is the same as hospitable.
And what music do you like?
Specific to here? I don't know. I've been fascinated with the trumpet since I arrived here. So I've been to Guča once or twice.
Really?
Yeah, I loved it.
How was there?
It was amazing. I went for the last day. It was Sunday and Goran Bregovic was on stage. So yeah, no, that was an amazing experience. I love the tamburica almost, but more specifically the trumpet.
And tamburica here on Salaš,
it gets everyone going, anyone and everyone. Yeah.
Do you know any song?
Mezzacina.
Mesečina.
Mesečina.
Joj, joj.
Yeah. But I need to learn another one.
Mesečina, mesečina, joj, 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 joj. Sukcesija, joj, 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 joj. Sa nebesa zrak probija. Niko ne zna, niko ne zna, niko ne zna, niko ne zna, niko ne zna šta to sija.
Is there something that you don't like here?
Not really, no. No, it can be difficult. Trying to source information or trying to find the right company or the right people to outsource to, or sourcing information is difficult. It can be very difficult. And the process setting up a company was extremely difficult, especially with the legislation on licensing and all the rest of it. So it was complicated at the start. It was no easy chore. And it took us 2 years really to establish our license and all the correct paperwork and
Paperwork.
yeah, paperwork. I think it was probably the same anywhere, but here it seemed probably with the language barrier, we were kind of in the dark quite a lot of the time.
Does it really need to change? I don't know. I mean, what is Serbia looking to do? I mean, do they want to join Europe? What's going to happen? Is it a good idea? Probably not. I mean, I don't think people need to change in this country. You know, there isn't anything missing, really, in my opinion.
Well, foreigners can't buy land here, they can't buy houses. That may have changed. I heard it has changed. Access to information, maybe, a bit more support if you're from outside. There's only really support on big scale for big corporates and stuff like that. For the smaller guys, there's not much in place.
Is there any item that you bring with yourself, especially when you're coming to Serbia and when you go from Serbia to Scotland?
Often it would be honey, rakia, what the socks called? Woolen socks.
Oh, woolen
Zlatibor socks or whatever. Yeah, that kind of stuff. I mean, yeah. Sometimes if I'm not flying, I'll take coolant or some dried meats. Those are the most popular things.
I think living here, there's certainly things that you miss from the UK. Normally it's food. Not that the food's bad here, but it's little things, like English tea is a prime example. So, it's something that you miss from home. But we always have it here, so it's fine.
What do you bring when you go home? What do you bring from Serbia to your friends and family?
Rakia.
Rakia. What kind of? What's your favorite
Sliva.
Sliva?
Yeah. It's not particularly from Vojvodina, but it's Sliva.
Sliva is favorite. Yeah. And it's healthy?
It's healthy.
It's healthy.
In small amounts, yeah.
One shot, 1 or 2 shots per day. Yeah. And honey.
Honey as well.
Honey and rakia, that's the best mix.
Yeah.
And some special things for this drink from Scotland here? Or you have everything in Serbia?
No, we do miss some things. Ginger beer, iron brew, tea bags, Marmite, peanut butter, stuff like that, yeah. Spices, Indian spices. Yeah, we like to cook Indian. Now there is an Indian restaurant in Novi Sad, so it's not so essential, but when we first came, we couldn't find a curry anywhere.
Do you have some plans for the future? For the next 5-10 years, what you would like to do? Where would you like to do?
We just like to see our business grow. We already export our cider, so we'd be looking to export to different countries and see how far we can go. We'd like for Serbian people to start drinking more cider and to start integrating it into their culture. They have great produce here, so it's a win-win situation really for producing nice cider.
Mostly we sell in Novi Sad. We currently sell in Lazina Tele, Pancetta, and Cultural Exchange. So it's only 3 venues. Previously we were in some more outdoor venues and stuff like that. But it's a difficult market. You have Carlsberg and Apetinska, and a lot of the bars are contracted. Things are slowly changing, and now Cabinet, who are a microbrewery, they've started up in Belgrade, and things are sort of progressing slowly with free houses and different drinks. Yeah, more versatility in what's available.
Tell me, what do you like to work in your free time?
In free time?
Yeah, what do you like?
Well, yeah, I like
You don't drink cider and everything.
well, I like to garden. I'm also a DJ, and so yeah,
So what kind of music do you listen and play?
electronic music mainly. So in my free time, I travel around Scotland with some friends, and we play at festivals. And
Really?
yeah,
Yeah, you should try in an Exit Festival maybe.
yeah, maybe one day.
So did you had some gigs here in Novi Sad, Belgrade? somewhere?
In Novi Sad, yeah,
In Novi
some
Sad.
small bars, yeah. Not for a while.
Do you have any plans for the summer? For Novi Sad or?
No. That actually, when I was traveling in France, that's what I was doing. I was away DJing.
So what kind of music? Electronic and what kind of that?
House
what
and techno,
genres?
house and techno, really. But
Okay, cool. And do you maybe compose something and made your
no,
own suppose?
just DJing.
Just DJ.
That's enough for me.
And did you hear, I'm sure that you had some favorite music from this area.
From this area,
Yeah? What do you like?
I'm not sure. I like this traditional music. You know, that they play in restaurants, and yeah, that sort of thing. I would say not really turbo folk or anything, but you know, traditional live music.
Ej, salaši na severu Bačke, u vama su pisme punjevačke, a tambura tako lipo svira, koda note par slavuja bira.
Tell me, what is the main reason for your staying here? Why you decided to be here for 10 years and to live here more?
As I said, we moved here for a lifestyle, so having a salash and producing our own vegetables and our own produces, it's something that everybody in the West is trying, or not everybody, but it's becoming more and more popular, and everybody wants self-sustainability, organic food, etc., etc. So for us, it was affordable and accessible to do it in Serbia, and that was the main reason. Now we're 4 years into this project, and we would like to see it succeed. It's slowly, sort of 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or 1 step forward and two back. I don't know. We are keen to see Scott Cider take off. We've worked in Croatia. We've sold to big festivals. We export cider, which is predominantly English. We send it to London. It sells in London. It sells in Croatia. You know, so we've come so far, but now it's just that last step, and to see it, I mean, people on the domestic market in Novi Sad, people love it. You know, they specifically go to some of the outlets just to drink cider. People, when they try it on open events, Night in the Museum, the last one we did, it's just a fantastic response. People really love it. It's just actually getting it out to the market, and you know, we'll try and work on that. We'll try and make it more and more accessible to people.
What's your plans now? Are you gonna stay here in Serbia?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. We're not going anywhere. We've got a salash, and we're happy, and business is going well, so can't complain. We're not going anywhere anytime soon.
Okay, we will be here to support you and to drink cider.
Fantastic. Appreciate it.
Okay, cool. Živjeli.
Živjeli. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers. Doviđenja. Cheers. Živjeli. Cheers.
Kad se krenu momci na vašage, a nek vranci pokidaju